Hello, this is Mitch King with Trade Stocks America with the Tuesday evening, April 21st, 2009 daily stock report. Dow Jones had a buy on the dip today, up 1.6%. Still looking for this stock market to probably flatten out here and head down. It's my best forecast so far to continue to draw this line. It'd probably be something like this, flattening and heading down like this direction. I'd even go as far as to say that if we look at a 2-year chart on this, is that we're going to see basically this kind of line here continuing down. Now temporarily we're above that, but we're getting all the signs, all the signals, and just kind of logic of the downtrend we've had for well over a year. Well, I'd go back into almost a year and a half that this is going to continue down. I'm not forecasting we're going to have that big sharp drop like we had here, but it seems very logical that we can just kind of drift down here into the summer. So that's kind of a forecast that I've been formulating recently, and we'll just continue to look for evidence if that is either supported or disproved, and then we'll take different strategies based on what evidence we see. Today's market doesn't really mean a lot to us in terms of whether the bulls came in today, or this is the kind of stuff you really don't need to be watching on CNBC, and the announcers themselves get happy when the market goes up and they get sad and fearful when they get down. So use them as your contrarian indicators. Use them as an indicator of that they don't know really a whole lot about anything. And most of those guys on CNBC are talking heads, if you will. And there's just a small handful of people that are really worth listening to. Maybe 4 or 5 guys on CNBC, and they just don't come on that often. One guy's really good, used to be with Payne Weber. He's a floor manager. Art Cashin is really worth listening to on his forecast for short term, and he often gives a commentary early in the morning before the market opens, or in the first half hour after it opens, especially when the market's in turmoil. He really gives a good take on things. Ken Hebner is a real sharp guy. There's probably 4 or 5 guys that are really worth listening to. I'll try to put that list together for you. The S&P 500 and the Dow are pretty much similar in the shape and the type of action, even though there are 500 stocks in the S&P. This is pretty much the same type of look, except it has probably a steeper downtrend in the last year or so than the Dow, and it might be a little bit over this average line right now, but eventually it looks like it'll be heading down as well. Just best guess that I'm coming up with, or a hunch, if you will. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq Composite. A lot more bullish looking chart on a shorter term basis than the other stocks. So this one I'm not, the technology stocks are getting a lot more attention, a lot stronger. That should hold up better than the other 2 indexes. I'd like to take a look at these intraday trades that we... Now here's a 3-day chart with a 15-minute bar chart, 15 minutes per bar, and this is an excellent intraday scalp today. I'll give you a handful. This hit 2165, closed at 2585. A big percentage move. Let's take a look at a handful of others. Bank of America had about a 28% move today. Let's look at today's chart alone on Bank of America. We had a low of $7, came all the way to $8.93, which is just about 28%. Just phenomenal. The financials were driven by just the rebound from yesterday's slashing it took. JP Morgan had a big move today. So did US Bank, also had a very big move. They had some earnings that came out. If it was yesterday or day before yesterday, the earnings wouldn't have counted, and today it went as low from 1527 to a high of 1937. Just gigantic range. And that's 26% off the bottom. So we had some pretty nice intraday scalps, even from that first one right here, to 1779 from that drop. It had a drop in the morning to 1527, and then we went up to 1774, $2.50 on a $15.27 stock is 16% move right there. Remember that stock Ash? Let's take a look at the daily chart on Ash. Here's Ash, been a real strong stock. This stock here has come from a low of about 532 March 10th, went to as high as 1844, so it's over tripled in about 6 weeks. Had a big drop down the last 2 days to 1432 down, so it's down about $4, and it did a reversal today from, let's take a look here, from 1450 to $17 today. Real nice move. I'm really interpreting this as a top, so I put this down as a short-term swing trade on the short. So a short swing. This is for aggressive traders. Very small position, getting a feeling or a hunch that it's acting all the way like we're hitting the top on this, but it's also very dangerous. So, aggressive traders only, very small position. And you want to wait to see if this happens to exceed this 1827 number. And if it does that the next couple days, then don't short it. So I tend to put a position idea or a stock idea on the report, giving you a couple days warning that it looks like it's shaping up to be an idea. But if it zooms up over 18 tomorrow, then forget it. Just let it keep running and don't touch it on the short side until it really starts turning over and breaking down. So even this one had a nice intraday trade today. Many stocks did this. I'm just showing you a handful of stocks real quickly. MasterCard had a 13-point swing on it, which is, well, that's a little less than 10%. So that's not a big deal compared to the other ones, but it is for MasterCard. Here's a stock from about 113.50 to 121. For Goldman Sachs, that's just really a big move. So continue to look for these intraday trades tomorrow. Try to keep building your own personal list and put them on your watch list. And all you do is you just keep building up these chart windows all over your screen, let's say 3 or 4 at a time, and watch them. If you're an intraday trader, and I really recommend that that's where the money's going to keep coming in, the cash flow and the high odds play. A lot of people can't do this technique because they got to go to work, but if you live on the West Coast, the first hour and a half is where most of these trades occur. So I really suggest that you learn this, and even if you don't use it very often, it will make you a very sharp investor as well as a trader. You'll really start to understand how to read charts. The same technical indicators apply to daily charts or 15-minute charts for a week, or a 1-day chart like we're looking at here. These technical indicators apply to all the chart settings. Pretty much given up on oil stocks as far as making any money. I think the last 4 times I've tried, I've probably lost a little bit of money on the last 3. I've just really been off timing on this oil sector. Cancel the RT Ruby Tuesday short idea. It's just too strong. It's too late to go long. And what that stock looks like, let's take a look. I'm sorry, I'm talking when I'm not showing it to you. What this stock looks like is there's someone behind driving this. Maybe a small hedge fund can continue, a medium-sized hedge fund or a newsletter can keep driving this and continue to push this up. It also is bringing the short sellers to buy to cover, and they're getting squeezed out as well by now. This is a tough stock to trade both long and short. So just cancel that idea. So put the odds in your favor. You guys take care, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.